Hello and welcome back to the 2025 showcase that I've been doing. It did come to my attention after the previous two episodes. I recorded them back to back, and I might be coming across as a little bit biased in the way that I'm explaining things, and I just wanted to say something to that effect. Like, this isn't like an official thing I'm doing or anything. It's just kind of something I decided to do. I guess I am the person who's been doing the voting for the Deadlies for the past few years, like creating the threads and all that. But yeah, it's just I'm not. When it comes to like my playthroughs on the channel, I'm not trying to be unbiased or anything like that. I don't know. I just felt like I needed to say that because it's probably pretty obvious that I enjoy some of these more than others. So I just wanted to say that, my commentary aside, form your own opinions, look at things. I'm going to like things that you dislike, and vice versa. It's just kind of going to be what it is. But anyway, if you play DROD and you're watching these, you probably already knew that. But I just, for whatever reason, I felt like I needed to say it because I was perhaps unfairly negative on one entry, in part because I had one release from last year. In part because I had some recording issues during it, and I ended up spending like 2 hours with it. So anyway, onward to Roach Approach by Chaco. Don't let this name confuse you. This is Chaco. It's only roaches, but roaches can be tricky. They can. Roach Queen is one of my favorite enemies in the game, but I'm not sure if that counts as just roaches. We'll see. Thanks to testers. Okay, another hold that got a bunch of feedback. That's good. Alright, well, this is about as simple as it can get, really. Okay, so I can easily survive this because I can choose any orientation I want. But what I want here, I guess, is I want the roach to get in there. So I don't think... Yeah, my orientation here probably doesn't matter all that much. I think I'm going to have to end up doing a few loops. So do I need to change? No, I could actually get some distance like that. Alright, and then it's just a matter of increasing the distance. I can do another one here. You cannot do, because of how vertical preference works, you can't do the same sort of thing here. I wonder if this will be the right length. Yeah, like this. Because if I do that, it just doesn't get any distance. Although because there's a 2 gap here, I guess instead of doing this, because yeah, I'm going up to 4, but I'm currently at 3. But if I stay at 3, okay, I'm not far enough. If I'd gotten here, I could have then gone down and gotten distance that way. But I feel like, unless there's some sort of trick to this, there's not really anything else I could do. Okay, there is this, which could have been used. But this is off, so I don't quite have enough space for it. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so now we're having to do more with these. Oops. And I think then maybe I can use the entrance? Yes. And we're just going to keep doing this. Okay, there we go. And if I had my sword in a different orientation... I could have had a first place tie, but it was not to be. Probably could have done that final bit with the cleanup more cleanly as well. Okay, Roach Maze. Well, immediately I see a problem, which is that if the roach is on the door, I don't think I can get it off of the door. So that means I have to start this room from a different entrance, which is going to be here or here. Because if I start up here, no matter what I do, Roach is going to hit the door. Roach is already on the door. So if I started here and get up, I can't get over in time. So that's also a failure. So I have to start this room from this side. Okay, well, let's do that then. Now, if I go around this way, Roach just gets out, so I have to get the Roach off of here. I feel like there's not a whole lot of control here. This is gonna miss. I just assume the goal is to hit the plate. Yes. So I think the only thing I can actually do here is get the Roach hooked in that. Okay, and that should solve it. There we go. I stepped in here, so let's do this next. Okay, we have... So the problem here, obviously, is that we don't have enough leverage. Now, I can... I can use these roaches, which is what I'm trying to do here, so... I wonder... if I do this, I can hit you. And then I need to... get a little bit of extra height. Okay, I have enough. I can... There we go. Yeah, just had to get that one extra tile. So this is... relatively low difficulty Roach puzzles, it looks like. Alright, so this one is basically the same concept, but now my little 5x5 instead of a 6x6. Yeah. So I have to use more roaches to do the same effect. If we... What am I trying to do here? I do need to do that. So I do need to push off once if I want to be able to reach the orb. But then the problem is I don't actually have enough height. But that's what the side is for, I suppose. The problem is... I might already be done here. Like, already be lost. Okay, you ones that are on the side. Interestingly, actually, you can... Hmm. Okay, if I want, I can do a diagonal. But I don't have enough, so I have to, oh no, let's do that. Because now the trick is I have to get to this roach, but once I get far enough, I can start using the crumbly walls here to get leverage. So really the goal is just to get into this corner at this point, or even just to get far enough over. I'm having an easier time with horizontal displacement than vertical displacement. I just reversed what I wanted to do, didn't I? Yeah, I wanted to go this way. Okay. And then I got into the alcove, so I'm good. Yeah, just a matter of doing a few pushes to get started. Not too bad. Definitely a level of complexity more than the base room, though. Oh, okay. This, I mean, I can just go in here and kill all of the roaches. If I want to keep... The implication is that I need 3 roaches alive here. And then I get on here, on the tunnel has to be B-throw because the roach can't move there. That's the only reason the tunnel exists. So 3 roaches and B-throw. And then using this obstacle to get around this roach so that I can escape with 3 roaches alive. But why do I want 3 roaches alive? Well, I can get 3 roaches on here, and then I would have 1, 2, 3, and that would let me get in here, and you're not on an arrow, right? Okay, yeah. So we can have you move, and you will move naturally. So the fact that you're up here, it is a problem because of this, but it won't be a problem. Because by the time I come around this way and then come around here like this, you will just naturally be in here and no longer be a problem. Okay, so really this is just about getting three roaches where I want them. Which wasn't that hard. This looks like it'll be a degree of complexity higher, but still not that bad. We get out with 3 roaches alive. And, oops, go to that height. Alright, is this going to be another one with a harder variant? Yes. Secret idea by Nuntar. Okay, so in this case, it looks like the exact same sort of puzzle. The only difference is the tunnel position, which somehow is going to make this more difficult, I guess. This structure here looks the same. Looks the same. Don't need to worry about you yet. Alright. So, there's a couple of ways we could approach this. Let's just... see here. So this is, I think, what makes it more difficult, is I can't just do two of you at once. But if I do just one of you... well, what if I do this, and then wait? I now have two of you here. But, okay, and then I do this to get you off me. No. And obviously if I go too far, then I start causing other problems. Well, let's take one of you, or two of you. I really didn't want two of you here. There we go. One of you. Like this. I am kind of at a stage where I'm just trying things and we're seeing what's going to happen. Yeah, this is pretty terrible, that approach. So the initial thing I tried was get two roaches down here, because that just seems like the easiest. But maybe the whole thing, because this worked really well when this was opposite this, because then we're just getting one and one. So maybe the goal is actually to move all three roaches down here. If there's a way to do that. It is also, I guess, worth noting, I can, from out here, manipulate the roaches around. I think that's going to be bad, though, because then I'm going to end up with Roach here. And I don't have a way of getting past it. I mean, I can step here with my sword facing north to get some distance, but all that does is it gets me one roach. Possibly on this, stuck on this, and then the other two roaches are either, well, who knows. I mean, maybe that is an approach you want to take. I'm bumping walls, it doesn't matter, I'm not being efficient here anyway. So let's see what happens if I do this. Okay, I got all three of you here. I still have two of you here, though, which isn't great. Because that's going to, at best, get me like this. So was there a way to do what I did here? I guess with different turn order. With a different turn order? So I have to do that. I get 2 of you here. There's not really anything I can do about that. If I go up here, it's just bad. And now if I go any further south to get around this roach, the other roach is going to come with me. So that was an interesting idea. I don't think it makes any sense at all to try doing that with less than 3 roaches. Fewer than 3 roaches even. So, because like I can keep the one there. And get you 2 down here. But this is only going to result in this roach coming around here. Like, it doesn't stay up here, so this doesn't actually help. In fact, if this was even just 1 roach down here, it still wouldn't help. So I guess it does let me manipulate turn order a little bit. But if I do that, okay, so now you're all in the same turn order, now you're reversed. So I could... like, does having them in the opposite turn order help here? If they were in a different turn order... okay, well that gets me 1, but then I don't get away from you. If I do this, that does get me 1. So how do I even get 1 in this spot at the end anyway? Because even if you're like this isn't gonna work. So I have to have, my end state is going to have to be 2 roaches here, 1 roach here, while I'm over here, because then I can get 1 roach here, and that gives me 1. So if I'm in this row, which I guess it doesn't matter where I am. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You'd be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this just does not seem to be working. So maybe it's a horizontal-vertical difference, and I'm just going about this the wrong way. I need to be going counterclockwise, or I need to be going the other way. So if I started here, let's say we had... because then I can have a roach here when I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think that works either, but it is... so the difference is that I can get the last roach stuck behind this wall. So if I get 1 roach out here while I'm here with my sword facing to the west, that is good enough. That's how I get this final part done. I cannot do the same thing here, because if I try to do it here, as I've demonstrated over and over again, they're going to get through, and because of horizontal preference, if I'm using this obstacle instead of this obstacle, I'm going vertically instead of horizontally, which isn't going to work. Because, I mean, it would work if I got the Roach stuck on this. But the thing is, I can't get the Roach stuck on this because it's always going to slide up to here instead of over to here. All right, I do need all 3 Roaches though, because this distance here is 4. So even with turn order in my favor, 2 Roaches would not take 4 turns to settle this out. It would be, I think with 3 it might be possible. 2 for sure. Alright, so what's actually going on here? Right, I can get the 1. I can get the 1 stuck here. What happens if I just do another loop? If I do another loop, I'm in trouble. This is the only way I can avoid that situation. I could have all 3 here. And that actually does leave me 1 there. But now I think I don't have a choice. I think I'm just stuck. So get 1 here. Do I even want 1 here? I have to, because of how this works. And this is just terrible for all sorts of reasons. Okay, so that didn't work. Well, what haven't we tried? We haven't tried getting all 3 with me like this. I kind of don't want that 1 left there. Okay, because we can get the 1. Yeah, okay, so this just isn't going to work. So I think I'm kind of at a point where I'm trying things randomly, which is to say I'm doing like a breadth first search instead of actually thinking about what it is that I need to be doing here. So like thinking about, that's again like the whole thing about manipulating the roaches out here. That's just me trying things that I see I can do rather than actually thinking about whether or not it will help me. So, right, what my end state goal was, if I'm going to get One roach in each of these with B throw ending here. I do think this way facing west, I step here, I have a roach on my sword, I can get down and it'll work. If I do it from this side, that's only going to work if I have the roach here, which is impossible. So I think I can conclusively state the end state is one roach here, roach and B throw here, with my sword facing west. If I have that situation, I can beat the room. So how do I engineer that? Well, how do I get here? With a roach stuck down here. The only way that's going to happen well, I can have, if my sword is facing south, I can step here, this roach will go. I can then turn my sword to block it while getting the other roach to slide here for sure. How far can I get with my sword facing south? Because the problem here that's already a loss. Okay, I can get two, but I have the third one there. I really don't want the third one there. I really don't want to leave that roach behind either. But I kind of have to. So this is just terrible all around. And ultimately having my sword facing south isn't inherently good because it could be facing west and it would be the same effect if I have a roach right behind me. So if we go with the west, think about this, is that I can if I had different movement order, that move could result in 1, 2, 3. Which I think is what I need. So I think this is just like a fiddly move order thing. So you're faster. Yeah, you're the fastest, of course you are. You're going to be the fastest still. Which means that when I do that, you get to step there. I want you to be at the back. Okay, is there a way I can do that? What's your starting orientation? You are on top, of course you are. Well, that just means I can go here and put you like that. Which, I mean, if I do that, you are going to sort yourselves to put you in that position. So is there any way I can... Because you being here doesn't actually matter, because you're not behind another roach. And then if I do this, you're just going to sort yourself again. And I don't have enough time to take advantage of that. Okay, well... Right. So what I've just done there is I now have Roach 4, the slowest one. The problem is I don't have enough room to get around. And if I do this, I'm leaving one behind and there's nothing I can do about it. And I really don't want to leave one behind. But that gets me here. I mean, the thing is, if I had 2 roaches following me now, you would be the closest to me, so the second roach would be behind the wall still. So I'd be able to do that. So if I had 2 roaches chasing me, one of them would have been caught here. You would then be up here, and it would be over. So the issue is that I can't get these 3 roaches through. I mean, I can use the... tunnel to mix them up a little bit. Okay, there we go. And that's 2. That's 1. Okay, so yeah, it was just a really fiddly turn order thing. And then I still am not done because I now need to extract this roach. Okay, well, we're done the first step. I mean, I guess I can probably just run them around a whole bunch here. So I'll get you out. In fact, I can just put you back in here. We really don't want somebody stuck in there. That was the whole point. There we go. Yeah, I mean, turn order is a thing. You can manipulate enemies in ways like that. I feel like you're kind of using the engine to hide things in a sense. It's a lot more effort than I really enjoy when you're just trying to get the numbers to line up in certain ways, but it is a thing you can do. I guess what it really comes down to, if I think about like the rooms I enjoy versus the rooms I don't enjoy so much, I enjoy trying to figure out a clever solution to a problem. I don't enjoy knowing what it is that I'm trying to do, but then having to fiddle with a bunch of stuff in the engine in order to get the things to fall into the place that I want. So like manipulating multiple serpents at a time, for example, is awful. Manipulating multiple wraithwings at the same time is awful. Like these are things I just don't particularly enjoy. And in this case, even just using the basic Roach, you can set up something where you need something very specific and precise, and it's just not terribly enjoyable to try to enforce. That is my opinion on the matter. Okay, so here, what's going on is I hit this. Looks like we have another secret. A lot of secret variations, that's the kind of thing you have to kind of be careful about, because doing multiple versions of the same room and just having one that's harder than the other it can be hit or miss, because sometimes the easier version you just kind of do it and it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to it, and then you do the harder version and it's like, okay, this is the actual puzzle. The first version of it was kind of just filler. So we'll see. So I think what's going on here is I have 8 cups and 9 roaches. Okay, where's my 9th cup? I guess my 9th cup is this spot. I can get 2 roaches in here. So, and this is a toggle. Okay, well, is the harder version of this room just you don't have a toggle? Okay, that was a bit ambitious, I guess. I was hoping to get 2 in here. So that's going to be a little bit tricky. But not too bad, honestly, because you just... Oops. We'll just release one at a time. Put you in there. Oh. I'm further south than I thought I would be. Okay, getting both of these is turning out to be a lot trickier than I first thought. Now, once this is done, I don't actually have to interact with that again. I guess maybe we try it with 3. There we go. Because we never need to go north of this again. So it's 4. Everything else is going to be to the south. So we'll do 3 again for this. See how that works out. This is the same kind of issue where I'm going to have hold on. Okay, I have horrendously misjudged what's going on here. This arrow is the last one, not this slot, because I don't think it's actually possible to get 2 roaches like this. Because either, so if you have 2 roaches here, if the front roach is faster, it'll move here, second roach has vertical preference and slides on the wall. And then if I move down again, it'll just slip through like that. So no, this is actually... There we go. That's where that one goes. let's just do this and see if this works out. Yes, okay. Alright, that's everything. So the reason we were doing all that is because I need to do that before I step off. And then we deal with all of that. Let's do the secret version. Yep. You can identify a pattern sometimes. Alright, so what is different about this version? This mechanism looks like it's the same. I'm going to hit that, which is going to open all the doors. I then have to swing back and forth. There are 12 roaches in here, plus 2 turns to kill the first one. This is going to be 2 per roach, basically. So this is 24 turns. I'm just stuck here with my back facing the room. So I have 9 roaches here, and I need to get all of them stuck somehow. However, there's an additional complication where I can toggle the door any number of times from up top, but once I stop hitting this orb, I can't come back. Okay, so initially then, let's count our spots. It is 9 roaches. We've got 1. This is a little bit interesting, but I think that's just to allow us to slide a roach up this way, because this is going to open, which means we can't have a second roach here because it's going to take fewer than 24 turns to get to us. So this cup, despite being too deep, is only for 1 roach because of the door. So 2, 3. Is that it for the south part? This probably... This just says it's necessary to have 2 roaches in order to get anything down here ever. Um, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So I'm going to start with this because there doesn't seem to be a limit on how many... how many times I can hit that. Okay, before we start doing that, let's turn our sword so we're not going to hit things. That is not good. Okay. Instead then, let's do this. Having this problem again. Yeah, and there's nothing we can do about you once that happens. So I think this was necessary to get a roach down here. However... there might be a weird timing thing with this. Because I think... well, no, maybe I'm overcomplicating it. I can just go up like this and wait. Okay, and then we use vertical preference. No, we're still off by 1. So even if you're all the way at the side here, when you're up here, the problem is I don't have enough time to get far enough south. I did notice, by the way, that this angle goes up here, so I did consider, I guess I'll show it, since I did consider it. In this position, I can do this. Well, this is why we check things, because I can't actually do that. You don't get there in time. But if that was the case, then that would have been a matter of leaving this part for the very end, because we don't want to mess what we're doing up here. So you being in this hook is actually really bad. We can hook you here at the very end. So maybe that's how... No, because even with that, you're just going to get stuck here. There's nothing else I can do about it. So I'm not seeing how to get a roach in here. That's the problem I'm having, because it doesn't seem to be possible to get a roach in here without causing other issues. And the thing is, I can't put the roach... Like, if I have only one roach out, and I put it in there, I can do that. I can't get a second roach here, though. So what kind of state am I looking at where I'm getting one roach here and one roach here? The only way that's going to happen maybe I have to do 4. Because then I can do it this way. Okay, I can do that. And then you can go here without disrupting anything else that I've done. Okay. So I thought that this bottom part was going to be completely isolated. It turns out this is actually the last thing I have to do because of having one leftover roach here that I can't do anything else with. So now the top. Well, I really don't want... I guess to get these two, I have to. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead of trying to reason about this, let's just release 3 roaches and see what happens. Okay, so that slide was necessary in order to get something on this diagonal, which is kind of what I figured. The problem now is I kind of just have to sit up here until somebody gets in there. So is this possible with 2 roaches? Yes. Okay. I don't think that this orb is helpful for anything else. Because now I have enough time, I can do that. I can do that. I'm never going that high again. In fact, I can even do this, because that's as high as I'm going again. And then I think it was just do this, right? Doesn't matter what the state of that door is. Okay. Yeah, that was significantly harder. But, yeah, the trick with the ordering at the end there was kind of neat. Like, I think the reason I enjoyed something like this a lot more than something like this is just the turn order aspect of it. Because, like, with this, everything was kind of a lot more reasonable to reason about. Alright, and that has been an hour of Roach Approach, so I think I'm going to call it there. I am curious if the other wings have as much duplication of room templates. Oh, also there's that wing there, which I guess is where I would have gone next. But yeah, Roach Approach is done for now, and I will move on to another entry in the next episode. Another entry. I keep calling them entries. It's because I'm used to doing contests. Like contest playthroughs. This isn't a contest. This is just voting on hold of the year kind of stuff. I'll do another hold next time. I will see you then.